Hello students, today in the chapter stereochemistry, today we are going to discuss about the relationship between symmetry and chirality. Symmetry and chirality. First of all, we know that stereochemistry, it is a branch of chemistry. It deals with the three-dimensional arrangement of atoms and molecules. And before that, the basic concept, that is isomerism. We know that isomerism means the existence of two or more molecules having same molecular formula but different properties. The molecules are said to be isomers and the phenomenon is said to be isomerism. Coming to there are so many examples already we have discussed, but for example, isopentane is there, pentane, isopentane, neopentane. These are all examples for isomers. And coming to the classification of isomers, we know that isomerism is mainly classified into two types. One is constitutional isomerism, another one is stereoisomerism. This constitutional isomerism is also known as structural isomerism. Structural isomerism means the difference is in the structure of the molecules. That means the molecules having same molecular formula, but difference is in the structure, or difference is in the bond connectivity. And coming to stereoisomerism, the bond connectivity is same, but the spatial arrangement of atoms or groups of atoms is different. The structural isomerism is again classified into chain isomerism, positional isomerism, functional group isomerism, metamerism, and tautomerism. And stereoisomerism is classified into conformational isomerism, configurational isomerism, optical isomerism. That means this configurational isomerism is classified into optical isomerism and geometrical isomerism. This is about constitutional isomerism. Okay, coming to stereoisomerism, already we know that the isomerism is due to the difference in the spatial arrangement of atoms or groups in the molecules. For example, if you see the examples, the carbon is having, that means these are the two isomers. These are the two isomers. They are having same bond connectivity. That means the carbon is attached to alkyl group, acid group, hydrogen, and NH2 group. That means the bond connectivity is same. In the second isomer also same groups are attached to the carbon, but the spatial arrangement of the atoms around that carbon is different, so that they are called as stereoisomers. They are different molecules having same molecular formula, same bond connectivity, but difference is in the spatial arrangement of atoms or groups around the carbon. These are said to be stereoisomers, and the isomerism is called as isomerism. Next, coming to the chirality term. Chirality means any object which is not superimposable on its mirror image is said to be chiral. Any object which is non-superimposable on its mirror image is said to be chiral. That means the object which is superimposable on its mirror image is said to be achiral. For example, this chair which is superimposable on its mirror image, that is said to be achiral. And coming to chiral carbon, we know that carbon is having 4 valency. The valency of carbon is 4. That means carbon, an sp3 carbon is attached to 4 groups. If the 4 groups attached to the carbon are different, or 4 different groups attached to a carbon, that carbon is said to be chiral carbon atom. Chiral carbon means the valency of the carbon satisfied by 4 different groups. Then the carbon is said to be chiral carbon atom. Chiral carbon atom is also said to be asymmetric carbon atom. That is, the carbon is atom that is bonded to 4 different groups is called as chiral or asymmetric carbon atom. And the molecule which is having chiral compound, then its mirror image will be a different compound, and the molecule is non-superimposable on its mirror image. For example, for some chirality centers, if you see, this carbon is chiral attached to one methyl, hydrogen, bromine and ethyl. 4 different groups are attached. That is said to be chiral. And next, see here, and coming to enantiomers, we know that the term enantiomers, molecules that are non-superimposable on its mirror images are said to be enantiomers. That means that pair is said to be enantiomeric pair. And always chiral molecules exist as a pair of enantiomers. For example, this is one example, that is 2-bromobutane. 2-bromobutane is one example for chiral molecules, and it exists as a pair of enantiomers. That means these are two molecules, two enantiomers. And then coming to one more term, optical activity. Optical activity means the property of a molecule to rotate plane polarized light. To rotate plane polarized light is said to be optical activity. Then coming to what is plane polarized light, we know that, and generally an ordinary light which has vibrations in all directions, when it is passed through a Nicol prism or a polarizing medium, then the outcome light, it has vibrations are in the same plane, and that light is said to be polarized light. That is plane polarized light. We also call it as PPL, plane polarized light. That means when an ordinary light is passed through a Nicol prism, generally we get this plane polarized light. And this is actually a construction of, that means the mechanism of a polarimeter. In that, what happens, generally a light source, from light source the light, ordinary light, passes through a polarizer or Nicol prism. Then what happens, we get PPL or plane polarized light. When this plane polarized light is passed through a sample, see here, this is sample tube consisting of sample. When this PPL is passed through a sample, the sample sometimes it rotates the PPL from its original position. That means rotating PPL or rotating plane polarized light is said to be optical activity. That property is said to be optical activity. Some molecules, that means this rotation is again two types. Some molecules, they rotate the PPL towards clockwise side, and some molecules, they rotate the plane polarized light towards counterclockwise side. These molecules are maybe two types. Some rotates clockwise side, some rotates the PPL towards counterclockwise side. That means whether clockwise or and counterclockwise, the rotation is important. That means if a molecule it is capable of rotating PPL, then it is said to be optical active. That means the molecules, that means which do not rotate the plane polarized light, they are said to be optically inactive. That means the rotation of ppl is said to be optical activity. That means when a molecule is said to be optical active means it rotates the plane polarized light either towards clockwise side or anti-clockwise side or counterclockwise side. I think is it clear? The next, see here, it means depending upon the rotation, that means depending upon the direction of rotation, the molecules are classified into two types, dextrorotatory and levorotatory. Dextrorotatory means the molecule rotates the plane polarized light towards clockwise or clockwise direction. That molecule is said to be dextrorotatory and it is indicated with small d or plus sign. For example, lactic acid has two enantiomeric pairs. In that, one is D lactic acid or plus lactic acid. That means that lactic acid isomer is rotates the ppl, means the dextro molecule rotates the plane polarized light towards clockwise side. And see, the levorotatory molecules, the molecules rotate the ppl towards counterclockwise. That means L lactic, that it is indicated with small l or minus sign. That means L lactic acid or minus lactic acid, it is the isomer which rotates the ppl towards anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. Then coming to specific rotation, actually specific rotation, that means it is defined as the angle of rotation of plane polarized light by 1 gram per centimeter cube sample in 1 decimeter tube. That is said to be specific rotation, and this is the formula, that is alpha d specific rotation is equal to alpha, that is angle, divided by L into d. L means length of the tube and d is the concentration of the sample in grams per centimeter cube. That is specific rotation. Specific rotation is a property of optically active compounds. Then coming to enantiomers, just we have discussed enantiomers means non-superimposable mirror images. They are said to be enantiomers, and these enantiomers are generally optically active. The condition for optical activity is generally in the earlier times, for optical activity it is defined as when a molecule is having chiral carbon atom, then the molecule is optically active. And coming to this enantiomers, enantiomers are non-superimposable mirror image pairs, and the enantiomers in which one molecule is D molecule, another molecule is L molecule. That means in enantiomeric pair, one is dextro molecule, another one is levo molecule. For example, these two are enantiomers, that is enantiomers of lactic acid. In that, one is generally one is dextro molecule, another one is levo molecule. That means one rotates the ppl towards clockwise side, and another molecule it rotates the ppl towards anti-clockwise side by the same angle. It means they rotates the ppl by the same angle, but the direction is different. And all right, coming to the concept symmetry and chirality. First, it was defined as that when a molecule is having one chiral center, then the molecules are that means at least one chiral center, the molecules are generally the molecules are optical active. That means the condition for optical activity is the molecule is, that means it should have one, at least one chiral center or one chiral carbon atom. That means it holds good for the molecules having only one chiral center. For example, lactic acid is there, it is having one chiral center, it is optically active. Okay, the definition holds good, but when the number of chiral carbon atoms increases, the problem arises, especially the molecules which are having similar chiral centers. Like tartaric acid, see here tartaric acid is there. In this the molecule is having two chiral centers. This is molecule acid, sorry, tartaric acid having two chiral centers. It has three forms, three isomers. In that, one is D-tartaric acid or dextrotartaric acid, and another one is L-tartaric acid or levotartaric acid. These are optically active. This D-tartaric acid and L-tartaric acid are optically active. But coming to the third isomer of tartaric acid, that is mesotartaric acid, this is optically inactive. Remember, this mesotartaric acid is optically inactive. Though it is having two chiral centers or two chiral carbon atoms, but the molecule is optically inactive. That means this situation arises when especially the molecule is having similar chiral centers. When the molecule is having similar chiral centers, generally this situation arises. That means the molecules having chiral centers, but the molecules are optically inactive. That means the definition doesn't holds good. Hence, later the definition changed that for the optical activity, the molecule should have chiral center, but some molecules are there which are having chiral centers but optically inactive. Then, if you observe some molecules like allenes, they proved that they are optically active, but there is no chiral center. See here, for example, in this allenes, we know that the three carbon atoms are there. In that, no sp3 carbon is there. The first one is, this is sp2, this is sp, and that is also sp2. That means no chiral carbon is there, but they are proved that they are optically active. That means the molecules, there are some molecules but without chiral centers also they are optically active. Hence the definition is again changed. That means the molecules, that means for optical activity the molecules should have chiral carbon atom, but there are some molecules having chiral center, they are also optically inactive. And there are some molecules which are not having chiral centers but still they are optically active. Hence, no perfect definition for optical activity, but the optical activity is best described by symmetry. That means there is a relationship between symmetry and chirality, that means optical activity. By using symmetry elements, we can best explain the optical, whether a molecule is optically active or optically inactive. And coming to symmetry, there are four symmetry elements. First one is axis of symmetry, plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry. Sorry, this is alternating axis of symmetry, center of symmetry, plane of symmetry, and axis of symmetry. Let us go with one by one. See, axis of symmetry, generally in a molecule, any line passes through the molecule through which, if we rotate the molecule by 360 by n degrees, if we get the identical molecule with original, then the molecule is said to have axis of symmetry. Rotation, if rotation by 360 by n degrees, it gives identical molecule with original, then the molecule is said to be having Cn axis of rotation or n-fold axis of rotation, or an axis around which the rotation by 360 by n degrees results a molecule indistinguishable from the original. That is said to be, that means the molecule is said to be having axis of symmetry. This is also called an n-fold rotational axis, and it is abbreviated as Cn. For example, this is ethylene molecule. We can easily explain axis of symmetry with this molecule. If there is, assume a line or an axis passes through the two carbon atoms, through which, if we rotate by 180 degrees, if we rotate 180 degrees or 360 by 2 degrees, if we rotate by 180 degrees, then we get the identical molecule. It means this H comes here and this H comes here. We get the identical molecule. Hence, then this ethylene molecule is said to be having this C2 axis of symmetry. C2 axis of symmetry. That means the molecule is rotated by 360 by 2 degrees or 180 degrees. We get the identical molecule. Hence, the molecule is said to be having C2 axis of symmetry. That means this is about axis of symmetry. For example, one more example is there. See here, this is let us say this is cyclobutane, and if one axis passes through the center of the square, if you rotate by 90 degrees, then we get the similar molecule or identical molecule. Hence, the molecule is said to be having C4 axis of symmetry, because we are rotating by 360 by 4 degrees, that is 90 degrees. Hence, it's said to be fourfold axis, that is C4 axis of symmetry. I think you have understood about this. Next, coming to the second one, this is about axis of symmetry. That means through an axis, if the molecule is rotated by some degrees, if you get the identical molecule, then the molecule is said to be having axis of symmetry. Next, plane of symmetry. Plane of symmetry. Plane of symmetry means it is an imaginary plane that bisects the molecule into two halves that are mirror images of each other, or any plane, any imaginary plane that passes through the molecule which divides the molecule into two identical halves, or the two parts are mirror images of each other, then the molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry. That means any imaginary plane which is passing through the molecule, it divides the molecule into two equal halves. That means then the molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry. For example, this is the molecule. See here, if see here, this dotted red line, we think it is a plane which passes through the molecule. It divides the molecule into two equal halves. This is one equal half, another equal half. They are also mirror image to each other. Then the molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry. That means when molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry, when an imaginary plane, it divides the molecule into two equal halves, then the molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry. Then this is about plane of symmetry, very simple. For example, tartaric acid also there. Tartaric acid, let have see here. Yes, this is mesotartaric acid also there. This is mesotartaric acid. This is also having plane of symmetry. That means if a plane passing through here, passing from here, it divides the molecule into two equal halves. Then mesotartaric acid is said to be having plane of symmetry. That means a plane, imaginary plane, it divides the molecule into two halves. I think it is clear about plane of symmetry. Next, that is center of symmetry. Center of symmetry means it is a point in the molecule generally such that on the molecule can be reflected back through that point an equal distance but opposite direction, and an equivalent group is formed. Or in simple words, center of symmetry is a point. If we draw a line from any atom or a group to the center, then we extend the line from the center, then at the same distance from the center, if we found the same group or similar group, then the molecule is said to be have center of symmetry. If you see the example, we can easily understand what is center of symmetry. For example, this is the molecule 2,4-dimethyl cyclobutane 1,3-dicarboxylic acid. See here, if in this dot is said to be center of symmetry. If we draw a line from this COOH group to the center or this point, and if we extend the line again at the same distance, at equivalent distance, we found again COH group. Or if we draw a line from this CH3 group to this center point, and if we extend the line and at the same distance we found methyl group again. This is applicable to all the groups present in the molecules. That means from any atom or any group, if we draw a line towards the center and if we extend the line again, then at equal distance we found similar molecule, then the molecule is said to be having center of symmetry. I think you have understood about this. Next, alternating axis of symmetry. Then see here, this is also very important. Alternating, it is indicated with SN. And means n-fold. That means a molecule is said to be having n-fold alternating axis of symmetry if the molecule is rotated through an axis by 360 by n degrees, then followed by reflection through a plane which is perpendicular to the axis. Then if we get the identical molecule or indistinguishable molecule from the original, then the molecule is said to be having alternating axis of symmetry. That means in this alternating axis of symmetry, we are performing two operations. The first one is rotation through an axis by 360 by n degrees, then followed by reflection through the plane which is perpendicular to the axis. If we get the identical molecule, then the molecule is said to be having alternating axis of symmetry. This is also called as rotation followed by reflection. First rotation, the second one is reflection through a plane which is perpendicular to the rotation axis. Then the molecule is said to be have alternating axis of symmetry. It is also known as SN. It is indicated with SN. If you see one example, you can easily understand what is alternating axis of symmetry. See here, this is the molecule. See here, this is the molecule. This 1, 2, 3, 4 tetramethyl cyclobutane. For this, see here, again the cyclobutane carbons are numbered with 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is an axis actually passing through like this. If we rotate by an angle 360 by 4, that is 90 degrees, that is 4-fold axis, 90 degrees through, for example, let us say anti-clockwise direction, anti-clockwise, then this 1 comes here, this 2 goes here, this 3 goes here and 4 goes here. Okay, that is rotation with 90 degrees, but we can't get identical molecule with the original here. But if the mirror image of this molecule, that means if there is a plane which is perpendicular to the axis of symmetry, see here, this is the axis of symmetry, and when a plane perpendicular to this axis of symmetry, this mirror image, if this mirror image is identical with the original molecule, or if the mirror image is indistinguishable with the original molecule, then this molecule is having alternating axis of symmetry. Here that means here the rotation is by 90 degrees or 360 by 4 degrees, hence the molecule is said to be having S4 alternating axis of symmetry. S4 alternating axis of symmetry. I think you have understood about alternating axis of symmetry. This is a symmetry in which rotation followed by reflection is carried out in order to get identical molecule. This is about alternating axis of symmetry. I think it is clear about this alternating axis of symmetry. Let us see. Okay. And coming to the relationship between the symmetry and chirality. That means our symmetry and optical activity. That means optical activity we cannot. That means we can't predict that whether molecule is optically active or inactive. Means if molecule is having chiral center, sometimes it is also inactive also. Sometimes when a molecule doesn't having chiral centers, that molecules are also optical active like allenes. Hence for that we can explain the optical activity of molecule by using symmetry elements. For example, see here, these are disymmetric molecules or the molecules in which absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry and also alternating axis of symmetry, those molecules are said to be disymmetric molecules. These are optically active. That means for active optical activity there should be absence of, that means in the molecule there should be absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry and alternating axis of symmetry. Then the molecules are optically active. Those molecules are called as disymmetric molecules. For example, here this is 2,3 dibromobutane. The molecule is optically active. This is optically active 2,3 dibromobutane. The molecules are optically active. These are disymmetric molecules because these molecules there is absence of plane of symmetry, See here no plane of symmetry, no center of symmetry, uh, and also no alternating axis of symmetry. No alternating axis of symmetry. These molecules are said to be disymmetric molecules, and these are optically active. And in this one more term is there, that is asymmetric molecules. That is asymmetric molecules, in that along with the absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry, that means the axis of symmetry also absent. Unlike dissymmetric, in dissymmetric molecules there may be one symmetry element, that is generally Cn, that is axis of symmetry. For example, it is this 2,3 dibromobutane, it is having C2 axis of symmetry, but plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry are absent. While coming to this asymmetric molecules, in asymmetric molecules all the symmetry elements, including axis of symmetry also, all symmetry elements are absent. Those are said to be asymmetric elements. That means asymmetric molecules. Asymmetric molecules are the molecules in which all symmetry elements are absent. That molecules are said to be asymmetric molecules. For example, this is lactic acid is there. In this lactic acid, there is no plane of symmetry, there is no center of symmetry, there is no alternating axis symmetry, along with there is no axis of symmetry also. These molecules are said to be asymmetric molecules, and asymmetric molecules are also optically active. Remember, asymmetric molecules are also optically active. Then, right, asymmetric and dissymmetric molecules. All asymmetric molecules are dissymmetric, but all dissymmetric molecules are not asymmetric. Remember, dissymmetric molecule means absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry. In asymmetric molecules, along with this axis of symmetry is also absent. That means all asymmetric molecules are dissymmetric, but all dissymmetric molecules are not asymmetric. However, these both type of molecules, they show optical activity and are chiral, and the molecules are chiral. That means the condition for chirality or optical activity of the molecule is explained by symmetry elements. That means when the molecule is having the absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry, then the molecules are chiral. Those molecules are said to be dissymmetric. Along with these three, if the axis of rotation is also absent, then the molecule A is said to be having, the molecules are said to be asymmetric molecules. Both asymmetric and dissymmetric are optically active. This is about the today's topic. In today's topic, we learned with the relationship between symmetry elements and chirality, because the chirality of the molecule can be explained by symmetry. In earlier times, actually, this optical activity, that means the condition for optical activity can be that was explained by chiral carbon atoms. That means when a molecule is having chiral carbon, those molecules are said to be optical active. But later there were some molecules found that the molecules are having chiral centers, but they are optically inactive. Later there are some more molecules found which are optically active, but they are not having any chiral center, like aldehydes. Hence the condition for optical activity cannot be explained by chiral centers. Hence the optical activity of the molecules is explained by symmetry elements. And coming to the symmetry elements, there are four symmetry elements. First one is axis of symmetry, second one is center of symmetry, third one is plane of symmetry, and fourth one is alternating axis of symmetry. And coming to this, axis of symmetry means it is any axis passing through the molecule through which the rotation is carried out by 360 by n degrees, so that we get the identical molecule or indistinguishable molecule with the original. Then the molecule is said to be having Cn axis of symmetry. Next, plane of symmetry means it is an imaginary plane which bisects the molecule into two identical halves, which divides the molecule into two identical halves. That is plane of symmetry. Next, center of symmetry means it is the point in the molecule. That means if we draw a line from any molecule or any atom, that means if we draw a line from any atom or group in the molecule to this point, and if the line is extended, then if we found same group or same atom at equal distance, then the molecule is said to be having center of symmetry. That is Ci. Next, the next one is alternating axis of symmetry. Alternating axis of symmetry means it is indicated with Sn. This is generally the operation is rotation followed by reflection. Rotation by 360 by n degrees through an axis, and next followed by reflection through a plane perpendicular to the axis. If we get the identical molecule, then the molecule is said to be having alternating axis of symmetry, Sn. Then the condition for optical activity is, if there is absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry and alternating of symmetry in a molecule, then the molecules are optically active, and that molecules are called as disymmetric. Disymmetric molecules are the molecules which are not having plane of symmetry, center of symmetry and alternating axis of symmetry. Those are called as disymmetric molecules and optically active. And for example, this is 2,3 dibromobutane, which is optically active, but here only axis of rotation is there, that is C2 only present, but the remaining three, plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, alternating axis of symmetry, are absent. And one more type of molecule, asymmetric molecules, in which all the symmetry elements including this axis of symmetry are also absent. Those are called as asymmetric molecules. Asymmetric molecules are also optically active. And there is, for example, lactic acid, in which all the symmetry elements are absent. And later one sentence, all asymmetric molecules are disymmetric, but all disymmetric molecules are not asymmetric. Remember this point. But however, the asymmetric and disymmetric molecules both are optically active. That means this is the relationship between symmetry and chirality, or symmetry and optical activity. With this, I will conclude this session today, and tomorrow we will discuss with another topic. Thank you.